Sister Fatin, Assalamu alaikum. We are live.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I appreciate your willingness to work with us on this. We are live right now. There are a few people that are watching us. Would like to have the next 10 minutes with you, inshallah. I already introduced who you are and introduced your credentials. And I would like you to give us an overview of what domestic violence is. Because from my perspective, maybe I know a little bit more, but most people believe that domestic violence is limited to a husband beating up his spouse. So tell us more a little bit.
No, actually, it's domestic violence. It's something that happens within the family, within a household, and it could be emotional abuse, it could be physical abuse, or it could be, mental abuse, verbal abuse. So domestic violence is whether it's the husband, a son, the wife, any member of the family that is becomes verbally, physically, or mentally, emotionally violent is domestic violence.
Okay, now, what does verbal violence means? What does that entail?
Verbal is when, whether it's cursing, condemning, putting a person down. That's what verbal is.
And what about mental abuse?
Mental and emotional is pretty much the same. You continuously let the person feel they're not worthy. You continuously let them think they are not worth anything.
So you're taking someone, you're maybe more educated, or maybe you make more money, she's stay-at-home wife, you're pretty much just telling her all the time that she's worthless, that she doesn't know, she's pointless, she's retarded, whatever the derogative, the word or the description you're gonna use to just put this person down. Is that close or fair to say?
Not necessarily, because the wife could be very educated. In our culture, sometimes the husband is not educated, but the wife is.
Mm-hmm.
Or, so it's not necessarily in that order. It's just, when a person is abusive, it shows that they have a lot of mental health challenges, issues, such as depression, such as low self-esteem, and sometimes in any culture, the way these people make themselves either forget or make themselves feel better about how they feel is by putting others down, like the bullies.
I see.
Most of the times when you confront a bully and you put a stop to what they're doing,
mm-hmm.
they're not that strong. You'll find out they have a lot of self-esteem issues. That's how they were making themselves feel better about themselves, mm-hmm. by putting somebody else down.
Now, what are some of the symptoms that lead to us getting to the conclusion that there is a domestic abuse? How do you identify that? Or at what point can we say, let's explore emotional abuse? What does that mean? Like, at what point can you say that a spouse is abusing his or her spouse emotionally?
I mean, from a mental health point of view, if it's not physical, if it's just emotional, mm-hmm. they will be withdrawn, antisocial, mm-hmm. not interacting. Maybe they might, if it's somebody you work with, they might be absent mm-hmm. from work a lot, absent from school a lot, mm-hmm. Social events, family events. They just stay away.
Okay. Now, what does it? What is it that families could do to act?
To act.
To act on some,
I
like,
mean,
what action can they take when there is some? What can a wife do if she feels that she is being abused at home?
I mean, any type of abuse. I mean, culturally, she definitely needs to go to, family members, the father, her brothers, let the family get involved.
Mm-hmm.
The imam,
Mm-hmm.
and if she fears that it's harmful enough, then she definitely has to call the authorities. She has to take the legal steps.
And there is a rumor out there, and I heard it more than once from several women, that they don't want to take action. They don't want to call the authorities because they believe that the police will intervene. They'll take the guy, the husband. He'll pay a $300 bail, and then he'll come out to abuse her more. How accurate is that?
It should not be that accurate. They do give her the steps of what she's supposed to do to stay safe. Mm-hmm. There's something called the restraining order. Mm-hmm. The judge will sign a temporary one, and then she has to go back to court and request, a full restraining order. Mm-hmm. She has to follow the steps, and definitely she has to protect herself.
And then who provides these steps?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Who provides these steps that she has to follow?
Well, the police will tell her, but I mean, she also has to know. She lived with this man. Mm-hmm. She knows what type of mentality he has and how he thinks. Mm-hmm. And she has to take the steps. I know the police will tell her, change the locks, make sure she's not out in the open where he could, get to her. My advice would be maybe she could have her brother come and stay over, the father, maybe she could move in with the family. Definitely she should not be alone with the kids, especially if there's kids.
Oh. Now, my next question would be, how serious is domestic abuse in the Muslim community in the U.S., or based on your experience, at least in New Jersey? How serious is it?
I mean, it's serious enough, just like any other community. We are not any different. My analyzation and many medical analyzation of domestic violence, it's a problem that needs to the person that is abusive should go through counseling, should go through therapy, should go see a psychiatrist, because it's definitely a mental health issue. And if they do not get the help, they'll continue on, even if it's from a spouse to another, from a family member to another. So that's one of the main reasons it's not resolved, is the person does not think it's a problem, and they do not reach out for help.
And here the person, when you say the person, you're talking about the abusive person, not the abuse.
The abusive, yeah.
Correct.
Because, it could be vice versa. We do, I understand the majority in our culture is men, but there are women also that are abusive, and you have children that lived in domestic violence environment. They'll grow up to be abusive. So whoever should get the mental health treatment.
Last question. How can we prevent domestic violence in our communities?
Definitely be more educated Islamically, be more educated, because mashallah, Islam did not leave anything that it did not cover. Okay, so all these problems have the solution in the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
If we are to study our Quran deeply, if we are to kind of the top solutions, other solutions, more awareness, more, better communication, better understanding, recognition. We have to recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to no more cover up for it.
Very good. Any final words, sister?
Just praying that inshallah we'll all be there for one another, help one another, for Allah to protect all the families, and those that need help do seek it, inshallah.
Barakallahu feek. Sister, thank you so much for your valuable information, and we'll be in touch very soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Wa iyyakum.